Johnny Sweet, what's up? How you doing?
Man, all is well over here on the islands, man. How are you?
I'm great. Speaking of you being on the islands, how's everything going on where you're at?
Weather's been very on and off. It could be hot from morning till afternoon and then pouring rain the next. But I mean, everyone's going through very similar circumstances with the pandemic and whatnot. But we're just out here rolling with the punches and making do with what we have.
Well, and I think I heard that one of your goals, I guess, during last year or maybe going into this year is that you've been trying to lose weight. So have you been really close to your goal?
Yes. So I started off the journey at 313 pounds. Right now I'm at 285. So my overall goal is to get to 250. About a year and a half ago, I hurt my knee playing men's league basketball. Try to stay active as much as I can.
Hmm.
I ended up tearing my meniscus, and it's healing now. But my doctor said if I ever wanted to play again, I would have to lose a good amount of weight so that my knees can handle have a really good weight while I'm playing. So yeah, just consistency and making use of the time that I have and just staying on schedule and having a routine is key, man.
And have you been changing up on your diet since you've been trying to lose weight?
Yeah, man. Big shout out to my brother Brandon Fraser of Power Healthy Meals. They sponsor me, and I also train at their gym over here in Waipio, Hawaii. So they feed me and train me. Um, I have my little cheat days usually on Sundays.
Oh yeah.
Sunday evenings. I try not to go too much in before I feel sick, but I've been very consistent. It's something that I've had a hard time with since I've been out of college sports. Is you feel like I don't have much of a reason to stay in shape anymore. So I'm just gonna enjoy life. But I realize one day I'm gonna have a family, and I
Yeah.
want to make sure that I can throw a football with my son and chase my kids around the playground without almost dying. So it was time to get my health back under control.
Do you have a typical cheat meal that you like to go to?
Yes, we either go Korean. I'm a huge fan of Korean food and yakin
Okay.
food, so, like the one where you're cooking it yourself and stuff. Like I'm
Yeah.
a servant, man, so I love feeding my sisters and my brothers and
Okay.
friends. I'm on the grill cooking, and then I get to finally spoil myself with some pork jowl, and pork belly, and some brisket. And then, man, I love Polynesian food, Hawaiian food, Samoan food, Tongan food.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I really have. There's zero discrimination when it comes to me and eating. The only thing I don't like is salad, but you know, you gotta have a salad every now
Oh
and
yeah.
then within my healthy meals, just to keep that balance.
Well, speaking of Samoan dishes, I'm always like I used to live in the Fiji Islands, and I know like their foods are similar, and they have what's called one dish I really miss is miti, and I don't know if it's different in Samoan, but basically it's like coconut milk with peppers, um, lemon juice, onions chopped up like that, and they usually use that to like soak up when they fry some fish or cassava or tapioca. But yeah, I
Yeah,
miss like good island authentic food like that.
we use a very similar marinade or um, soup base for fish, and we'll
Okay.
eat it raw fish, and we call it oka. And that's one of my favorite things. It's and then in a Hawaiian style, very popular here in Hawaii. It's a delicacy poke. So it's like
Oh yeah.
chopped up cubes of ahi tuna, and they use all those type very similar seasoning, and you can never go wrong
Oh
with
yeah.
ahi. I'll eat that as a meal. Sometimes I'll just eat the straight, just the fish out of the bowl and all
Oh.
the rice, maybe a little bit of seaweed on top of it, but that's about it.
Well, that's cool that you grill too. I would love to if I one day when I have a backyard, I want to like be known as like the neighborhood griller. Like I want to just grill for everyone, man.
Yeah, it's fun, man, and, when you're up there on the grill and I honestly never really grilled growing up, only my dad, my uncles, my grandpa will be on the grill, and us young folk, we sit back and we watch and we take
Yeah.
note. I got to college
Oh
and I
yeah.
was like, "Okay, I'm on my own now," put my big boy pants on, and
Oh yeah.
I would always call home and I was like, "Hey, uncle, remember that one steak you made? "How'd
Oh,
you do
yeah.
it?" And boom, that's how I learned, and now, now I'm that guy at our
Oh, yeah.
friends' parties. They always have me on the grill.
Yeah. You need that guy, like, the grill master, like, that's the basically the heart of the party. If you know how to grill, everyone would love you, man.
Everybody's gonna be talking about you when they get home. "Man, oh, how's uncle's chicken?" Like, I was talking with my girlfriend the other day, later on in the future, um, you know, when we have kids, I would love to be that dad where all my kids' friends is like, "We're gonna go uncle's house.
Oh,
We're gonna
yeah.
go kill a barbecue."
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to be that uncle.
You mentioned that you used to play college sports, and I believe that you actually played, football, in
Yeah.
college. So how'd you come from wanting to play? Because I guess one of your goals was to be a professional football player, so how'd you come from that to being a full-time musician?
Well, growing up, I grew up singing in a church choir, so singing was a part of my life, my whole life. My whole family, from my grandma, it just trickled down from generation to generation. My great grandmother, she was a singer, man. She could sing. She passed away at 100, almost 101 years old, and she was still singing at 100, like
Oh, wow.
just pushing notes, as well as my grandma, her daughter, who was my mom's mom. They were all singers. My sisters are leaders at their church who sing on the worship team. All
Mhm.
my brothers sing. My youngest brother raps. Like we're all musically inclined. Now,
Oh, wow.
I didn't think I was gonna ever do something professionally with it. I'm that guy in the garage jamming with the boys. Having a few beers.
Yeah.
But after my football career came to an end and I decided to hang up the cleats, I moved home, worked construction and bounced at the clubs, typical Polynesian,
Mhm.
type stuff. But again, like I said, my family is very embedded in the music industry over here, and two of my cousins who are very well-known producers and musicians out here, they were like, "Man, come sing. Come, you don't want to be a singer?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, I'm good. I'm up there in the industry for
Yeah.
construction. I'm making good money. I don't really feel like I want to step out and take that risk and start from the bottom again." But they have their way with words, and they convinced me, and here I am today. A lot of the principles I learned from college, being disciplined, committed, sacrifice, taking initiative, those things I definitely learned and have been able to implement into my music career.
Yeah. And you're a big football fan. I believe I saw some postings about Troy Polamalu, so are you a big fan of him?
Man, yes. I mean, in high school, I played defensive back. I played safety.
Mhm.
And so, man, every Polynesian kid's dream as a defensive back, or just on defense, period, you want to be Troy Polamalu, or
Yeah.
you want to be Junior Seau, or you want to be Ma'atanu Vasa. And so, me playing defensive back, I just always grew up watching Troy, and I tried my best to, emulate my game very similar to his.
Yeah.
And then I had the pleasure of meeting him in
Oh,
2013
wow.
in California. Man, I was super stoked. He's a very good friend of my uncle's, so my uncle was like, come meet Troy," and
Oh,
oh,
shit.
I was ecstatic about that, man. So getting to meet him was awesome, and I'm a Steelers fan. My uncle
Mhm.
Chris played for them as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, football is just it'll always forever be a part of me, and it was hard to let go the first few years,
Yeah.
but like I said, it'll always be a part of me, and I love watching football.
I don't look it, but I used to be, I wouldn't say in high school, I was probably 30 pounds extra muscle. And I
Okay.
mean, I worked out a lot more and I played varsity football and I was a strong safety, but I mean, being a small
Ooh,
guy. But
yeah,
I say Troy, and this is at the peak of Troy Polamalu. So I think he was probably 3 years in, 4 years, and he was already a beast coming in. And the thing is, I always watched about him. He was pretty much involved in every play, and you can tell like his hair. You knew where he was, his hair. So like after every play, he could be freaking 50 yards away from like a tackle. You see him right there, and then like he wants to be involved. But I used to love Troy Polamalu.
yeah, hair floating around, just
Oh
coming
yeah,
down. So, man, and he was so fast and athletic and
oh yeah,
agile, and it was crazy because I studied him so much, not even just the way he played, but I really tapped into the way he prepared. He wasn't the type to lift weights. He wasn't the type
oh
to
yeah.
do, like, no heavy lifting. He did a lot of
He wasn't a
isometric.
big guy. Yeah.
No, he wasn't. Maybe 210, something like that, but he he wasn't the type to really like, you know, get huge.
Uh-huh.
A lot of other players, he was just a dog, man. He had something in him.
Oh,
Such a
yeah.
nice guy, you know, off the
Oh, yeah.
field. And as soon as he hits the field, he turns it on. Ain't no
Oh,
nice
yeah.
guy anymore.
And it was just awesome that he always let his hair out. I mean, back in the day, I used to have a lot of, like, curly hair and stuff like that, and I used to, like, let it all out, and that was one thing I always wanted to be like Troy. I knew I could like, I wasn't as big as him and fast as him, but, like, that was someone I was like in my mind, I was like, I'm play like Troy Polamalu."
Maybe if I get the hair,
Oh,
I could move like that. Yeah, I had long hair at one point too. So I know what you mean.
and actually, you were speaking about studying him, and another football player that I understand that you study more of his dance moves is Ray Lewis. So, how'd you learn to do his dance moves?
Man, it's crazy because I actually did that before I was even in music. I used to do the Ray Lewis dance in college when I was playing ball, just
Okay.
because like I despise Baltimore Ravens. You know, because I'm a Steelers fan
Hmm.
and that's our rivals, but there's no running away from the fact that Ray Lewis is one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And I just I enjoy it. You know, I study his story. Um, a man who comes from nothing, where wasn't always the biggest, wasn't always the strongest or the fastest, and he's all about putting in work,
Oh
being the
yeah.
first one at the meetings, being the first one at practice and the last one to leave,
Hmm.
and he makes everybody around him better,
Oh yeah.
and that's what I try to be for my band, for my team, for my family, for anybody around me. I want to make sure that when I walk out of the room, that the only thing that's said is, "Oh man, that he made my day," and
Yeah.
that's Ray Lewis. You know, there's a reason why I love doing that dance. When you watch the way he did it coming out of the stadium, this dude would slide right, slide left, step, step, and the crowd would go berserk.
Oh yeah.
And it happens at my concerts now. You know, I make sure that no matter what song we open with, that's the first thing I do when I hit the stage, and the people go nuts.
And yeah, I've seen a video of you doing those dance moves, and man, and you're light on your feet. Like I understand you're a big guy, but you are, quick on your feet. And I understand that you actually took dance lessons. So what
Yeah.
made you want to do that?
Well, I when I first started in the industry, I remember my first show ever, man. It was my first show as Johnny Sweet, as a solo artist, because I sang backup for a lot of people.
Okay.
I remember I was so nervous. I kind of just stood behind the mic stand the whole time for like the whole hour. And when I seen videos, I was like, man, I really let the nerves get the best of me
Hmm.
because I'm not. If you know my personality, I cannot sit still.
Hmm.
I cannot sit still at all. You can ask my managers, my team, they will always say it like, "Oh, he cannot stay still." And that's just me. I'm full of energy. I just appreciate opportunities to perform for people. So, and I realized that just, you know, even though I have the energy, I got to find different ways to bring it out. So I started to study more Bruno Mars, Anderson Paak, Michael Jackson, Justin Timberlake, um, Charlie Puth, just artists that really know how to work the stage, dance, move. Neo is one of my favorite guys.
Okay.
And I don't have much of a dancing background. I just dance because I love to move. So I was like, man, maybe I can add some structure.
Yeah.
So linked up with my boy. His name is Drew Singer. He's also an artist out here in Hawaii, R&B, reggae artist, but he is a phenomenal dancer. So usually weeks out before my performances, I would meet with him and we'd have one-on-ones in front of a huge mirror in a dancing room. And it's crazy. People don't expect it because I'm 6'1", 285 pounds.
Yeah.
No one would expect me to dance, but I can't help it. Like even if I didn't know how to dance, I would just dance because my body is will not allow me to stay still. That's just who I am. And so I figured, if I take these dancing lessons, it'll look way better. It'll look cooler. And people will trip because they're like, "Oh, this big dude is
Yeah.
moving." So I enjoy it. It's a process. And I think it's a whole part of honing in on my craft and trying to better myself as an overall artist, not just a singer, not just a songwriter, but a performer.
You mentioned Neo, and personally, I don't think the guy gets too much credit for his dance skills because I mean he's a great singer, so I think he's more known for his singing, just being a music writer. But if you haven't seen his music videos, like shit, the guy can fucking move.
Yeah, he is a great I mean, he was on Stomp the Yard
Oh yeah,
for a reason. He did not sing in Stomp the Yard. He was dancing. He was stepping.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I've actually it's funny because, in my next upcoming show, we're doing a whole Neil medley, and,
Okay,
yeah, and I'm meeting up with my boy Drew this week, and he's gonna teach me some dance moves to his songs while I sing, so I'm excited, dude, I'm so excited. So I was like, "Oh, I gotta bring up Neil, man,"
yeah,
'cause man, I remember, watching I remember when Neil's song, "So Sick" came
oh
out
yeah,
in 2005, 2006. I was obsessed with that song,
oh
and
yeah.
it's still hit. So, yeah, I love Neil, man.
That was the breakout hit, man. You never heard a song like that until "So Sick" came out. I remember that song.
Then everything after that was just bangers.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So,
That's the classic one. And one thing you also, I guess, studied from, the artists that you mentioned was their wardrobe. So whose wardrobe do you admire the most?
oh, that's tough, man. They all got swag. They all got swag. Now, one thing about them having swag is it fits them. You know, each person has their own. I don't wouldn't necessarily say I fit like I can't dress like Bruno. Um, I can't dress like Michael Jackson. I'm too big. Um, but I love the way Anderson .Paak dresses. Uh,
Okay.
he always wears the two-piece matching stuff, shorts. I love wearing shorts. Um, I got big calves, so I gotta show off my calves.
Yeah.
People are always talking about that, so I gotta show them off. So I'll be wearing shorts. I love Chucks. Chucks are like my go-to shoes.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I like to dress nice, but still be a little comfortable so I can move confidently.
Oh yeah.
But that's why my health is so much more important to me now. Is I mean, if I'm at a decent size, I can find really nice clothes,
Yeah.
you know. But if I keep getting bigger, it's gonna be harder and harder to find me some 3X size 44 pants, man. I was wearing a 44 for a while, and that was getting out of hand. I'm back to a 40, trying to stay at a 40 and stay at a 2X XL range in the shirt because you can find a lot nicer clothes then.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say one pair of shoes or brand that I've always admired that as for wardrobe that you can still look pretty classy but comfortable is Reebok classic shoes. I always love Reebok. Not really a big shoes person, but I love like just classic footwear like
Yeah.
that and like old school Adidas shoes. Like just give me those and I'm good.
Yeah, those are very comfortable.
Oh yeah.
I have wide feet, so I love Reebok because Reebok really helps you it helps the wide-footed people. Um, Even Adidas, I love Adidas. It's tough. Like Nike, I love Nike, but I can very, very, very rarely find size 14 in Nike. But Adidas, they always got them in 14, man.
Yeah.
Reebok always got them in 14. Chucks always got them in 14.
Were you ever like a and one clothing wear fan?
Back in the day, I for sure was, man. And I sucked at basketball at the time, so, I was like, "Maybe if I look better, I'll still get picked.
Yeah.
I won't get picked last if I'm wearing out of one."
Something I saw cool that you did that you have a couple of videos out is that you have behind the music videos. So what made you want to start posting those?
I think it's very important, that there are a lot of fans, there's, like I look at it this way, there's 50% fans and there's 100% fans. 50% fans where, they just wanna hear your music. And then there's 100% fans where they wanna engage. They wanna know the story behind certain songs. They wanna know what you're doing. They wanna know what you're up to. How did this how was this created? How did this song come about? What was the process that took place? They wanna be a part of the journey. And I think that's why it was very important. And I have nothing to hide, so
Mhm.
I was like, man, I'd love for them to see the behind the scenes stuff. I think one of the more popular ones on YouTube we did was for my most popular song was "Thank You." Um, we had like this interview style, panel style video, and the guy that was sitting next to me, my cousin, his name is Clandon. He plays bass and guitar for me, and he's also one of my music directors.
Mhm.
But he has a very big part of my life. He has a very big impact on my life, not just as a musician or an artist, but just as a man in general. Since we were born, he's been a part of my life. He's one of the main reasons why I came into this industry.
Okay.
So I wrote the second verse about him in "Thank You," and it was his birthday, so it was kind of cool because not only did we leading up to that video being filmed, we actually surprised him with like a potluck at our friend Mr. Sean's house,
Yeah.
and everyone there he has a huge impact on. And then when we made the video, he had no idea that it was about him. So
Okay.
um, he's always behind the scenes. So we wanted to give him some some spotlight and let people know that the face of the man who got us started and helped us out.
I believe when I had Fia on the program, he was mentioning your cousin Clandon, and I mean, he sounds like a remarkable guy, and he's someone that I would actually like to have him on the program and talk to him because I mean, he sounds like Fia was just talking about or sharing like his past and how Clandon like helped him into developing his music career, and you mentioned it too. But yeah, he sounds like a really great guy.
He is, man. I've been straight up. One of my biggest worries, again, as I shared before coming into this industry, was having to work from the bottom again in something.
Hmm.
Um, just going to college for 5 years, being away from home, being on my own, building from the bottom. That in itself was it. I put so much of my life into it that I was afraid to take a risk and take a jump to doing something like that again in a different career field. And um, you know, Clandon and my other cousin Lapana, they're the ones who was like, "Man, we're gonna be with you every step of the way." And again, like I said, I was just blessed and I was spoiled
Hmm.
because of the people I had around me. I didn't have that same type of support when I was in college. It was just me. I had the prayers of my family, which was very powerful. But other than that, it was me working two full-time jobs, going to school, playing football, and that was it. I come to this music career, and I have this network of people who are not just badass at what they do, but they truly believe in me,
Yeah.
and that's something you don't come around often. Sorry, I can go on and on for days when it
Yeah.
comes
Go
to
on. Yeah. Go on.
bragging about my team
Yeah.
because I'm just so grateful, man. Like I truly would not be here. Even not just the management, but Fia, man. You had Fia on here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Fia. Fia helped me so much honing in on my craft. That dude is so talented. I'd say he's top five best vocalist in island reggae right now.
Oh yeah.
And I'll call him and I'll be like, "Hey, Roos, so I'm writing this song, man. What do you think about this?" And I sing it for him. If he loves it, he'll tell me. If he thinks it can be better, boom, he'll tell me. He's like, "Oos, try this line right here. I
Yeah.
tried it. Try hitting this note, And I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay." It's truly a team. I think there's just this selflessness about us, and that whole family aspect, and knowing that um, as iron sharpens iron, a friend sharpens a friend. So we're always constantly sharpening each other. Other members of our team, Mr. Shant, Mile, Vic, we all help each other out and just sharpening each other, supporting each other. And yeah, that's our team, man. I can go on and on about my team because, excuse my language, but we the shit, man. Straight up.
And Fia did mention that I guess you two were football rivals. Is that correct or something like
Yeah,
that?
high school. We always go at it, but we beat them 42-7.
Oh wow.
But Phil was one of the better players on his team.
Okay.
He, I met Phil at the All Star game, so they take the best players from each team, and we all play West versus East. And me and him were on the West side team together, and
Okay.
that's how I met him. There's only two players from his school, and he was probably one of the better ones. So yeah, Phil was a beast. He played defensive end, D tackle, offensive
Oh
line.
wow.
But I don't know if he told you, but his dream was to be a running back. But it was tough for them to put him running back when they needed someone to block for the
Yeah,
running back.
yeah.
So, you know, he was just bad at everything he does, man.
Do you have a favorite running back out of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Because I believe there's a few, like, big names that came
Oh,
through.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, biased to my uncle played, he was a running back, Chris Fumatumafala. And then, of course, man, I love Jerome Bettis.
Oh, yeah.
Um, man, I loved Le'Veon Bell until he left us, man, and he just showed his true self. He's a diva, man, but
Mm.
I wish him the best. But yeah, I'd have to say the bus, man, Jerome Bettis.
Oh, yeah.
I got my uncle Chris. It's probably my favorite running backs of all time from the Steelers.
I kinda wanna go back to your behind the music videos because I noticed that I think the latest one that you had, it kinda opened up or at some point it opened up with a motivational speaker, Eric Thomas. So are you a fan of him?
Oh, I love Eric Thomas, man. That dude will change my whole attitude. From the mornings that I gotta wake up early after only falling asleep at 2 a.m. I just, one thing I love about him is he's a God-fearing man, and he's just one of those dudes who come from the slums. Dude was homeless, and he made zero excuses for himself. So he truly does motivate. I feel like running through a wall after I listen to one of his speeches.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's also a reminder because I'm someone who is often motivated Monday through Monday, man. Super just grateful for life and the 24 hours I had ahead of me. But I'm also a human, man. So there will be days where I wake up and I don't want to do shit. I just want to lay in bed. Excuse my language. I don't really want to do nothing. But, sometimes I just gotta put on an Eric Thomas speech, man.
Yeah.
"It's time to get in beast mode," and I'm like, "Okay, my bad. Let me remind myself of
Oh,
who
yeah.
I am real quick and get out of this funk and man the hell up real
Oh,
quick
yeah.
and get to work because time waits for no man."
Oh, yeah.
But again, I'm human. I get in those seasons where I'm just like, "Bro, I'm trying to just grab me a tub of ice cream and just watch Netflix all day, man. That's what today's gonna be. And today can turn into a whole week. And that happened to me last year, man. I thought I was the only one in the world sad about the pandemic. I thought I was the only one in the world struggling from the pandemic. So I put myself in this dark hole where I just didn't feel like writing music, didn't feel like working out. And that's where I got to my heaviest when I was like almost 315.
Oh, wow.
But I'm blessed again with my team. I'm surrounded by people who love me and care about me, check up on me, and sharpen me. And one of my good friends from college, one of my college teammates from Texas, he sent me a video. He sent me that video, and I was like, "Oh, brah, it's time to wake up, man. It's time to wake up and smell the coffee and get back to work." So I love Eric Thomas, man. I mean, I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. So yeah, it's just whatever you're listening to is gonna have a huge impact on your life. So I make sure I'm always listening to good stuff like that. Even Steve Harvey has amazing speeches.
Oh, wow.
Denzel Washington. I don't just listen to athletes, but yeah, Denzel, um, Steve Harvey, a lot of people, man. I love listening, man. Can't get enough of Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant speeches, man. It just I love when there's that interview where they're like, you scored 38 points today, going to game five. How come you don't look happy? And he was like, the job's not done. Is the
Mhm.
job done yet? Did we win a championship? There's
Yeah.
nothing to celebrate.
I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I would say, I mean, not recently, but I would say whenever I'm feeling at my lowest, like depressed lowest, and I'm talking about like every once in a while I'll feel depressed, but when I'm at my most, when everything feels like it's just going wrong for me, I make sure I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. I was trying to look. I mean, I listened to Eric Thomas, but there was someone Earl Nightingale, that's who I listen to. But I wanna say, like, one thing, and you mentioned it too, just go to sleep with motivational, just I play it from my phone, just have a album to play out, whether it's, Earl Nightingale or, Eric Thomas, and it's good to sub you're just go to sleep just positive words. Like the
Yeah,
last thing you should hear is just positive words coming to you, telling you like you can do it, like
yeah,
don't fear it. I mean, that's the kind of attitude you want to wake up to.
yeah, and that's when you I'm a firm believer in this. One thing that my pastor says, he says, whenever you are the way you exit a season is the same way you're gonna enter the next. So I love that you said that. You know, you go to sleep and you have a motivational speech going on,
Hmm.
then of course you go wake up on fire, ready to run
Oh
through a
yeah.
wall. You know, and like I was sharing with you my teammate that sent me that video. His name is Carter James. I remember one time we were like in the middle of camp and man, we were dead. We're going on our second practice of the day on a day that we were supposed to only have one, but you know, our coaches were just like yelling at us and getting on us, grilling us. Everybody had that attitude like they didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
My boy Carter stepped in the middle and he's a leader, man. He said, there are two things in this world that we can control. We are all 100% in control of our attitude and our effort. And that's two things that I really um, wanted to make sure I hold myself to. Two standards I hold myself to is reminding myself that when it comes to anything in life, you know, you might be smacked with something sideways that you weren't expecting, but you're in 100% full control of your attitude and how you view it. And so that's something that I always did my best to. Um, it stuck with me ever since he said that, because we could have easily been mad the whole time, but instead we all took it upon ourselves to really make the switch and like, you know what? No, I'm gonna decide that we're gonna hit the ground running. I'm gonna decide that we're gonna look at this from a better perspective than to just be sad and mope around about it and have a terrible attitude.
You know, all this motivational talks, it got me thinking of like these postings that I've seen you. You actually do some motivational speaking yourself that you've done some postings for, and you've talked about Invisible Wave. So, what's your involvement with them?
Well, Invisible Wave is this nonprofit organization, and the basic premise of their whole organization is bringing awareness and change to the fact that young adults between the ages of 18 and 35, I believe, they do not receive the health care that they need. And not just any young adults between the age bracket, but the young adults with chronic illnesses. Now you have infants and young children and teens that have health care, that have the proper health care when they have chronic illnesses, or even the elderly. But for some reason, between the ages of 18 and 35, the young adult generation that do suffer from chronic illnesses, they do not receive the same type of benefits, resources, and healthcare as everyone else does. For me, being a part of this was easy, even though I don't suffer, even though I do not live with or live through a chronic illness. I'm affected by it because of my sis Mai. Mila is another singer songwriter, a part of our team. She's an amazing artist, one of the strongest women I know. She lives through and fights with endometriosis. I couldn't really explain it to the T, but I just know that she can undergo a great amount of pain and it can hit her out of nowhere at times.
Hmm.
And I've been walking through it with her since the moment I met her in 2017. She became my background vocalist in 2018. And I remember one time she came, I was doing a breakfast gig at Lalo in Waikiki, and she came to just watch and have breakfast with me on my break. And she like had a episode right then and there.
Oh wow.
For me, I didn't know what to do. She just told me right then and there, and all I could do was just try to comfort her and empathize with her.
Hmm.
Um, and this invisible wave, they don't ask for a lot from me. They just ask that I'm aware of what their fight is for, that that I post about it, that I bring other people more aware, because some people think that, oh, I don't have this. What is my business in this? How can I help if I don't understand or experience the same type of chronic illnesses that these other young adults have? Well, you know, just because you're not going through it doesn't mean you can't help. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
you can't be consistent. Doesn't mean you can't spread the word. So, man, just being generous with my time with them, hearing them out, asking questions on how what else can I do to help you. That's like my biggest involvement with Invisible Wave. I'm just always thinking about people like my sister Miley. She's one of hundreds of thousands of young adults that have chronic illnesses that want to get the same amount of help that everybody else is getting. So as long as I have my part to do, I'm always up on that.
Since we're wrapping up, is there anything you would like to share for our listeners?
Oh man, just thank you for those who thank you for having me on, man. It was an amazing talk, man. I just love kicking back, and it's good. We don't need to just talk about music. We're over here talking about what motivates us.
Oh yeah.
Talk, what can we listen to? It's important that we're putting these resources out there for these people to go in. So just to just to break that down for those of you tuning in, man, you want to get motivated, type in Eric Thomas. What was the
Right.
name of the motivational speaker you brought up, bro?
Earl Nightingale.
Yeah, man,
Earl
tune into
Nightingale.
him on
Yeah.
YouTube. Mike Kai, Pound for Pound Principle is a book that I read often. It's a book that really sharpened me and gave me the structure to how I run my brand and my business. Just making do and doing the best with what's been given to me. So Pound for Pound Principle, make sure you guys get that. It's by Mike Kai. Um, I don't. I just didn't want to make this thing just about music. It's important for us to spread the wealth, man. Spread the
Mhm.
word on and put people on game, man. And the little success that we have experienced is definitely everyone's capable of doing it. We just gotta have the willpower and the resources. So we just wanted to put y'all on game. If you're interested, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Johnny.suite. Follow my website, johnnysuite.com. I got new music coming your guys' way very, very soon. So yeah, stay tuned, man. Thank you so much for having me.
And no problem. And I'll have all the links listed in the episode notes so people can just click on that. But
Oh
I
man.
appreciate this conversation. But Johnny Sweet, thank you so much for joining us in Irie Chat and best of luck on everything.
So thank you, brother. Bless.